Good morning. So, I don't know if you've seen any of the other videos, but I always talk about when you're doing a reading, everything's an omen. That the moments leading up to a reading can be just as important as the reading itself. So I was sitting here and I pulled out my deck. And I haven't used this deck probably in close to 2 weeks. So I sit here, I took a breath, and I felt this buttery smoothness go through my fingers. It's like, oh yeah. So for the past 2 weeks, I've been using this deck. And I don't know if you can see the size difference between the two, but this is just a huge monster deck. And it's one of those things where you do something for 2 weeks, you pick up that extra 20 pounds and you carry it around and then you put it down. And then it's like, oh, that's what it feels like. So this reminds me about the little small things. And that put me into a different frame of mind, just sitting here, as silly as that is. But it was just a good feeling to pick up this deck after 2 weeks. It's like, wow. It even sounds different. It feels different. It's like, I love this deck. Really light, really easy to shuffle. Silly, right? I know. But each morning we come together and we're going to see what the universe might have for us. One of the things that reminds us to do is to take that breath, let our shoulders sag a little bit, and try and have some kind of a good start to the day. Part of a healthy breakfast. Okay. So, let's see if the universe has something for us to show us, lessons, maybe point out some angers, resentments. Maybe something we can focus on that might affect us today, where we might have a negative reaction. In other words, we just blow off the handle. And maybe we can take a look at it this morning and just look at those defects of character and see if we can react differently to situations today. Remembering to take that breath. It's actually a good morning. So, there's my stack, and I'm going to make my 3 little stacks. Each one a different thread going out to the universe. And whichever thread we pull will be the conversation we will carry throughout the day. Each one of these is going to be a different conversation. So, today is Thursday. And so let's see what's right on the bottom of things right now. Let's see what's underneath it all as we finish up our week. So I'm going to do the 3 and 1. And I'm going to flip over each card one at a time. And I'm going to read it like a book so that I see the cards the same time as you do. And I will do stream of consciousness as I go through, just reading each card. And then until we finally get the last card, and that will explain hopefully everything. So let's turn over the first page. So right off the bat, we are starting with La Papist. We're starting with the High Priestess. So this is about intuition. This is about looking into ourselves for the answers. So she's sitting there. She's looking towards the past there. She sees things that maybe we don't. There's a little veil here that we can't see past. But she's got all the little knowledge in her book here. So let's see what the reflection is about. We have the King of Swords. So this is a good balance because the King of Swords is somebody who understands the importance of understanding. Understands the importance of understanding. Will use intelligence, intellect to rule his country. So it really is a good counterbalance here. So she is reflecting in the past. He is reflecting into the future. Let's see what he's looking at. And he is looking at the Five of Swords. So he is anticipating possible difficulties. So when you have a Four of Swords, fours are about like the four legs on a chair. It's that stability. But with swords are about thoughts and intellect. And when you throw in a fifth sword, that can throw things totally out of whack. And sometimes it can be about ego, rightism, who's more right than anybody. So, before we turn this over, a thing to contemplate is he glamorizing possibly an idea and turning his back on intuition? Because that could also be a way to look at it. Because if you look at him, this particular king here could almost be making goo-goo eyes at that Five of Swords. So let's turn over the advice card and see what direction we're going then. We have the Seven of Wands. And sevens are about that potential, that ambition, that drive that we have. It can be about taking a stand. So I think what we have here today is that we have this idea, this ego, this thing where we have a rightism. And it looks, our opinion, our thought, what we think, it looks good. We like it. But what are we turning our back on? Are we avoiding, the intuition, the part that says, you know what, maybe we shouldn't do it. But then we have this intellect part and the people around us. We have the court that could be around us that's pushing us towards, hey, wouldn't it be cool though if we just did this? And then he's like, yeah, I don't care what other people think. This is my idea, or this is what I want. And the Seven of Wands in the advice side is saying, take a look at that defensive posture. Because we really want to avoid this card. This really is about selfishness. And it could be, this card could be whether you're on the receiving end or the one giving. But I think right here, this king is just looking at that. And the rightism is kicking in, and he wants to get all defensive and stand up and say, I am the right one. I am the one that's, I will defend my thought against everybody, and I will win regardless. And the one main positive card here leaves that as the Papist. And again, that is our intuition. So are we leaving that part behind? We know the difference between right or wrong. We can feel it. It reminds me of what somebody had told me once, where, have you ever gone into a grocery store and this is back when they used to give you change, and somebody gave you the wrong amount of change? So maybe instead of a 10, they gave you a 20, or instead of a 5, they gave you a 10. And that feeling you get like you just won the lottery. Well, I had somebody say to me, congratulations, you just ripped off some girl that's probably going to have to pull it out of her pocket to satisfy her boss. So congratulations, you just sold your soul for $5. Way to go. You know, at the time, it's like I thought I was winning the lottery. You know, but it's those lessons that we learn. And deep down inside, you know it's not right. So this is saying watch for that defensive posture. Watch for that moment where we feel like we are going to get over on somebody, or we're going to win regardless. That ego thing, when we should actually be looking inward and saying, is this right? Instead, we're looking outward and saying, this is what I want. This is what I feel. This is what I want. The wants can be really overpowering. But generally when we do that, then we're leaving somebody wins, but that means somebody loses. And sometimes we can glorify that somebody loses, right? So today, taking that posture that I'm going to win, maybe we should consider where we came from and look inwards for that answer, and not just take our sword and put it right in the middle of everything and say, I win. I think the trigger is that, for me at least today, when I feel like I need to get up on my rock and take a stand against everybody, where I know that I'm right, maybe I need to sit back and re-examine. So, with that again, thank you all very much. So tomorrow I actually have off of work. I'm helping with a wedding over the weekend. But it's like, part of me is like, oh, I could just sleep in. Oh, that would feel so good. But I'm also thinking, okay, wouldn't it feel good to get up early and just get a good early start to the day? So I was going to say, hey, I'm not going to be here tomorrow, but since December, I have not missed a day. Started this in November, then we had the holidays, and then since then, I've done it every day, so it's a good habit to have. So I'll be here again tomorrow at 7:15, and I do appreciate people's comments, and I do appreciate knowing that there are people that actually are encouraging me to do this, because it really does help me. So, I hope other people get something out of it, but thank you for all the encouragement and everything. So I am going to be here tomorrow. Good morning, Twix. Yeah. So I have actually been asked to play the music for it. I'm a guitarist. So I will be doing incidental music and a wedding march that I wrote for it. So I'm kind of excited. So I'm looking forward to it. So, but thanks everybody. And I hope you have an amazing day, an amazing rest of your week. And I'm going to be here in the morning. So take care.